The man of God, Apostle T.B. Funja, on the 4th of July 2021, gave a prophecy concerning the nation Afghanistan as was led by the Spirit of God. Let's listen to his words.
4th of July. So the Lord said we should pray for Afghanistan, because I was taken to Afghanistan and then I saw some rebels, some men, they were terrorists. The group just entered, a very deadly and violent group. They entered Afghanistan and then attacked some Afghan authorities. When they attacked these authorities, they were showing that this Afghanistan was ruled or controlled by Americans, the American soldiers. And so the terrorists now had authority. They entered and attacked Afghanistan authorities, and they captured some important members in the Afghan authority. So when they captured them, they told, I heard these terrorists asking them, telling them that you were the ones who were eating with the enemy. He was showing me the consequences the Afghanistan people will suffer in the hands of the terrorist group that is attacking Afghanistan. That it will be worse this time, and God will blame America. Just let the Afghanistan. And so when they left, it rendered the Afghanistan military powerless and gave authority for these terrorists to capture the Afghan military and started killing important people or authorities in the Afghan territory. Pray for Afghanistan.
America's nearly 2-decade-long involvement in Afghanistan is coming to an abrupt and chaotic end. Today, Taliban fighters took control of the capital, Kabul. President Ashraf Ghani suddenly fled the country. Then this. Taliban fighters were seen rolling up the Afghan flag inside the presidential palace. And tonight, President Biden is deploying another 1,000 troops to Kabul. They're part of a 6,000-strong contingent to help evacuate Americans. And take a look at this. U.S. helicopters have been flying between the U.S. Embassy and the airport. That's where diplomats and civilians have moved. It is now the only way out for Americans and our allies. We have team coverage of today's events in Afghanistan with reaction from Washington and London. But we begin tonight with CBS's Roxana Saberi in Kabul. Roxana.
Good evening, Jarika. In a single day, the Taliban not only made it to the gates of the capital, they also made their way in without resistance. The president, who just yesterday vowed to keep fighting, fled the country, and the Afghan government essentially collapsed. Videos posted online appear to show crowds of Kabul residents warmly embracing the Taliban as they arrived. In a statement this evening, the group said its forces have moved into certain districts abandoned by government security forces to prevent looting. Also tonight, Al Jazeera has broadcast video of Taliban fighters inside the presidential palace. This comes as President Ghani said in a Facebook statement he left to avoid further bloodshed. The Taliban have pledged not to harm civilians, foreigners, or diplomats. But Afghans afraid of the return to Taliban rule swarm the streets of the capital, some desperate to get on flights out of the country. Other Afghans who fled to Kabul from the countryside to escape the Taliban say now they have nowhere else to go. Tonight, people here tell us they're shocked at how quickly everything changed and how fast their president fled, calling him a coward. Jarika.
Roxana Saberi for us, thank you.
And then I saw some rebels, some men, they were terrorists. The group just entered, a very deadly and violent group. They entered Afghanistan and then attacked some Afghan authorities. When they attacked these authorities, they were showing that this Afghanistan was ruled or controlled by Americans, the American soldiers. And so the terrorists now had authority. They entered and attacked Afghanistan authorities. And they captured some important members in the Afghan authority. So when they captured them, they told, I heard these terrorists asking them, telling them that you were the ones who were eating with the enemy.
After 20 years, it was a hostile departure for the United States from its Kabul embassy. As the Taliban reached the city limits, helicopters ferried staff to Kabul International Airport. Those who remained burned sensitive documents, while Black Hawks and Apache helicopters circled the capital, monitoring for Taliban fighters on the ground. As they released heat flares over the green zone, President Ashraf Ghani was recording what would be his final statement. He and his core team fled the country shortly after.
There is a clear need that the National Directorate of Security, alongside the police and the Afghan army, take responsibility for the security of all citizens. I have asked the Defence Minister and the Interior Minister to convey that message. Anyone who is disturbing the law and order or thinks of looting should be confronted with full force.
Before Ghani left Kabul, the Afghan government had been negotiating with the Taliban for a political settlement, but its leverage had weakened with every loss of the battle.
As for you, son of man, I have made you the watchman over the house of Israel. So hear the words from my mouth and give them warning from me. Ezekiel 33. Revelation chapter 2 verse 29. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. Emmanuel, God with us.